Okay guys, today is the last day that you will ever say the words, I wish I knew how to become a full-time content creator, actually grow on social media, make social media my business, because after this episode, you are going to feel like you have your shit together so much when it comes to content creation, social media, your business plan, how you're actually gonna grow on social media. Because today, we're gonna unpack the exact content strategy and framework that I would do if I woke up today and I had 0 followers on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and I wanted to make social media my actual business and take social media seriously. So I'm so excited. We have a lot to unpack. We have a lot of work to do together today. So let's go to work together today. Before we get into the rest of the episode, I need to tell you about the best way to take social media seriously and really elevate your content, make your video content look so premium like you're taking social media seriously, which is today's sponsor, which is Storyblocks. You've heard me talk about Storyblocks before. They are one of the best ways to make your YouTube content, all your video content look so elevated and so professional and so good. And if you want to take social media seriously, you really have to be serious about making your content look like the version of you that has 1 million followers, and Storyblocks is such a good way to do that. Storyblocks is the world's first stock media subscription service offering video, audio, and images. They really solve the problem of affordable, accessible stock for creatives like us. They have so many amazing options of stock that you can put into your content, animated backgrounds, video, audio, sound effects, and it's not like a traditional pay-per-clip model. With a subscription, you have unlimited downloads and it's so accessible. We've been talking so much recently about Instagram and how to grow on Instagram. And with Storyblocks, you can pick out certain images that you can use as the background on your carousels, which I love. In your YouTube videos, like a sit down or a vlog, you can grab a clip of like an animated background to put text on to really elevate your videos and elevate the points of what you're saying. Or you could even use stock footage of like a city that you live in and use that stock aerial like drone footage as like a transition between the different vlog clips that you have to just like elevate everything. If you're doing a sit down video, you can grab B-roll of like people working or people walking to really elevate your video, adding sound effects, adding music. They're just like a one-stop shop to elevate your content and really make your content look like you're taking social media seriously and take it to the next level. So definitely go check out Storyblocks. I'm so excited they're sponsoring today's episode. Go check them out. I'll link everything in the description box below, and let's keep going with the video. Okay, so let's get into building out your content strategy, your social media strategy, your ultimate playbook and plan to make social media your business. If we're starting from 0, maybe you're starting from 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is, this is what we're gonna do to break down your exact plan. So the key to all of this is if I woke up today with 0 followers, what I would do is I would make my content strategy extremely focused and extremely clear. As content creators, one of the biggest reasons we don't grow is because in our social strategy, our content strategy, our content calendars, we're shoving way too much into it because we're thinking way too much about us. And like we've been talking about in this series, when you take social media seriously, you have to make the mental shift to think about your audience over top of what you feel like doing. So the first thing we're gonna do is I want you to think about what is the single function of my business. And the key to this is not thinking about yourself. The CEO of Nike is not thinking about what he feels like doing, and that's why they do what they're doing. So to build out your business function, I have 2 questions for you that will help guide this, and I'm gonna really challenge you to pick one thing for each of these questions. And we're gonna start really, really focused, because just the same way that when you launch a skincare brand or a clothing brand, you have kind of 1 or 2 signature products, that's the same way we're going to treat our social media, especially if we're starting from a place where it is not our business yet. You need to have a solid foundation and a clear, focused business, and then you can add more to it. So for the first question I have for you, if you're out for a walk, think about this, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, write it down. But the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is the one topic that you want to create about? The one thing. I'm going to force you to pick one. And I know you're probably a creative person, just like I am. There's probably a million things that you're interested in. But if you're featured on Forbes 30 Under 30 Creators, or a guest on your favorite podcast, or you're on the Kelly Clarkson show, what is the one topic that you want to be like your thing? And if you don't know the answer to this question, that's okay, but I need you to just pick something and go with it. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen over the years of working with creators specifically is that you think you're treating it like a business, but you're actually not. Because if you truly were, you wouldn't be shoving all of your interests into your business. Because if you're a content creator and you want to talk about wellness and politics and pop culture and fashion passion and your work life and relationships and cooking all under your business, that is the equivalent of, again, the CEO of Nike or the founder of Nike of selling vitamins and clothes and skincare and makeup all under the brand of Nike, which makes no sense. But he would say, well, that's what I'm interested in, so that's what I'm doing for my business. And that's what we're doing as content creators when we're shoving all of these different topics that don't make any sense together under one brand. Okay, quick note here, if you are a lifestyle content creator or you want to be more of like an influencer or a vlogger and you're thinking, okay, but what is the topic I want to be known for, like the function of my business, of my content, if I want to do lifestyle, I want to challenge you with a little question here, because I think if you are somebody who wants to do lifestyle content or vlogging and you're not growing on social media, or you feel like a little bit lost and overwhelmed with like what exactly you want to do and what to post and how to grow, I want to ask you, what do you mean by lifestyle? Because I think lifestyle content can be quite a general phrase. It's like a huge umbrella of so many different things. So when it comes to this first question, the function of your business, of the main topic, I want to ask you, what about your life do you want to be known for? Because when you say lifestyle, I'm sure there are certain things that come to mind about your lifestyle that you really want to be the main thing. So try to think about it. Is it your work lifestyle? Like, do you want to do 9 to 5 vlogs or talk about your work? Is it your routines, like your daily routines or your wellness? And if it's your whole day, like you want to show your lifestyle in a certain city, is it being in the certain city that you want to be known for? Like, what about your lifestyle, whether it's your work, your routines, what you're eating, what you're wearing, what you're doing? Pull from that, and rather than just saying lifestyle, think about what about your lifestyle, what is the key one part of your lifestyle you want to be the main thing that you focus on. I think this will really help you, because being a lifestyle creator can be very overwhelming, and being a vlogger can be very overwhelming, because you're like, okay, what am I actually going to show every single day? And it's one of the hardest ways to grow as a content creator, because we don't have the same business approach to lifestyle content. And even if you are somebody who wants to do lifestyle vlogging, share your life, show your day in your life, what you're doing, your routines, your habits, think about what is the one key part of all those different areas that you want to be your thing, and then you're going to build a business from that. So rather than just saying lifestyle, what about your lifestyle, your routines, your job, what you're wearing, what you're doing, your habits, what you're eating, what about your life is that main thing, rather than just saying lifestyle. Okay, let's get back into it. The second question is, what is one way you want people to feel? Maybe it's confident, educated, empowered, seen, related to, entertained, but what is one feeling you want people to feel? Pick one. Because again, we're keeping things focused, so every single week you're not feeling overwhelmed. You have a clear vision. And if you're listening to this and you have like 3,000, 10,000 followers, 1,000 followers, I want to really challenge you to simplify your brand and your business and see how that goes, because I do think it will change the growth of your brand and of your social media, because it's going to really focus you down. And we're not niching down, because a niche is all about the topic, and this would pretty much end here for niching down. We're going to build a brand and a business from this. So pick one topic and one feeling you want people to feel, and that is the function of your business. The next mistake we're going to avoid is we don't want to waste time feeling like we're speaking into the void of social media. This is so common, this feeling of when you go to sit down to create a reel, a TikTok, a YouTube video, you feel like you are talking to all of social media. And what that does is it makes you become everything to everybody, so you're not anything to anyone. It makes you actually make your personality and yourself smaller to fit into the box of anybody who's watching your content. And you do a lot of disclaimers, you don't become opinionated, you're not really saying what you want to say, because you feel like you're talking to every single person on social media, and that's not what we want to do. So because of that, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to build out a persona. And this fake person that we're going to make in our head, we're going to talk to in every single piece of content that we make. The first thing about this person, that every time you make a video, a piece of content, whatever it is, a carousel, you're going to talk to this person. The first thing about them is that they have the same sense of humor as you, and they get it. Like, they are a girl who gets it. They have similar opinions to you, a similar vibe to you, and they really get you. And every time you post for this person on social media, you're assuming that you're reaching people who actually really like you and think you're funny, get what you're saying, get your sense of humor, get your personality. That's who you're talking to. And then I'm going to ask you 2 questions about this person, which will really help shape your brand and your business. So the first question is, what is one goal goal that this person has that relates to the topic that we just picked, because we want all of this to be cohesive and relate together. Let's say, for example, the topic you want to be known for is your 9-to-5 lifestyle and like balancing your 9-to-5 life with other things. That's what you want to be known for. That's your topic. So to this person you're talking to, what is one goal that they have? Maybe the one goal that relates to that topic is that this person wants to have really good work-life balance. That's like their one goal. Let's say your topic is fashion. The one goal this person has is that they want to figure out what their personal style is. The only other question we're going to ask ourselves about this person that you talk to every single day is, what is one of the biggest struggles or problems that's getting in the way of that goal? With the first example, maybe the person has no idea how to balance everything. Like they don't have the tools, the tips. That's like the biggest problem that they have. So instead of building out a complex target audience and all these characteristics and personality traits and all these things, I want you to just think about every time you create your content, you have a person in your mind, you can even name them if you want, that you know has this one goal related to the topic that you're known for and one struggle that's getting in their way to get there. And this person gets you, likes you, gets her sense of humor, has the same vibe personality that you do. And again, if you've already got started with social media, this might feel like too simple for what you want to do. But again, if I was starting from zero, or even if I had 10,000 followers and I wasn't growing, I would revert back to the basics. I would simplify my brand down to really establish what I'm known for and then add to it as it grows. But I would grow from that one thing first. We have to launch our hero product. It's like when Hailey Bieber's brand came out, she launched the lip peptide, was like the first thing. When Apple launched, they had one computer and then they add to it, then the iPhone, then the iPad, then all these different things. You have to have your one first thing. And I think we start with the whole collection, a million topics, and that's when we're not growing. Next up on our agenda, we have our business function. We have a really simple person we're talking to. Now we're going to talk about our brand, and then we're going to get into the actual content. And if you watch the show, you've heard me talk about branding all the time. I'm so deeply passionate about branding. The same way you look at the businesses of Nike and Adidas, they do very similar things, but they have different brands. Nike is focused on performance. Adidas is more focused on lifestyle fashion. We are going to keep this so simple again, because every single week I want you to have this really signature, simple, focused strategy. And again, one of the biggest mistakes people make is their brand as a content creator is either not there, like they haven't actually thought about how they stand out. But if you listen to the show, I'm sure you have thought about this. We talk about this all the time. But another big mistake is that it's too complicated. You're adding in way too much to your brand, and it's actually forcing you to not be like in alignment and more authentic on camera because you're so focused on like pulling in a million different things. So before we get into the content, the last question I'm going to ask you is, when you think about the one topic that you want to be known for, the biggest thing you want to be an expert in, when you're on Forbes 30 under 30 creators as an expert in a certain topic or a signature style, what are two things, just pick two, that you want to be different about you? Again, if we're starting from zero, I would focus on just two. We can take me for an example here. There are so many people that talk about content creation and social media. Everybody does it in a bit of a different way. And for me, if I was doing this exercise, the two biggest things that I would focus on when me and a bunch of people talk about how to grow on social media, I would want the main two things in my brand to be different is my personality, my hilarious, amazing personality, and also my corporate experience, corporate Tess. I have my glasses on my head. That's we know corporate Tess is here. But my corporate experience is also something I really like to bring into my content and the way I talk about social media. So those are my two things. So when you talk about that one topic, what are two things, whether it's your experience, we talk about this all the time, something you've been through, maybe you're really open about a certain thing you've been through that other people aren't, your personality, your sense of humor, where you live, like what do you want to be just two things about you that really stand out when you talk about the same topic as somebody else. This is the most simple way you could possibly do a brand strategy, a business function, and a target audience, but I want it to be very simple because what this is going to do is really ground you as a content creator every single week. This is the most simple, streamlined strategy, which is the key here to growth. Because if you as a creator think this strategy is so clear, who I am, what I stand for, who I talk to, your audience will feel the exact same way, which is what we want. Again, we're trying to avoid being like the founder of Nike selling vitamins, clothing, and airline tickets. Like it makes no sense. So that is part one of our meeting agenda. Now we're going to actually get into the content of what you're going to post in feed, where you're going to post, and all of that. So let's get into part number 2 of our meeting. Okay, so now we've graduated on from going to have 0 followers, 1,000, 2,000 followers to growing our social media into the point where it is our actual business, which is what we want to do because we want to establish this clear hero brand if we truly want to make this our business. So now let's talk about the actual content in our feed. The first I'm going to say is something that is not what I usually stand by or what I usually say, but But when it comes to making social media your actual business, we need to pick a business location, which is the same thing as Nike picking their store. Where are we gonna host our business? And we've talked about this before throughout the first couple parts of this series of picking your Instagram or your YouTube or your TikTok, deciding which social media profiles are going to actually be your business. And if I was your friend, I would tell you, pick like 3, pick whatever you want. Do Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, and LinkedIn, like whatever you think. Sometimes I will say 2, but today I'm not your friend. I'm your unofficial boss, your coworker when it comes to content creation. I'm your manager, your team, whatever you want to say. As that person, I'm going to tell you, pick one. Pick one platform to focus on. And doubling down on even more, don't pick TikTok. I'm gonna be so for real. As your social media manager, focusing all of your energy and your time and your strategy and your content into a platform like TikTok that is so beyond volatile. If we were working together, I personally would not tell you to do that. I would pick YouTube or Instagram. I'm gonna be so honest. And I have a whole video on why that is that I can link. But beyond that, I would pick one place to be your actual business. You can pick 2. I've said picking 2 in the past, but again, if I had 0 followers or I really wanted to make social media my business, it is so much easier to grow on one platform and focusing on one platform being your business, because you're going to be more focused every single week. And the content you create for that platform will be for that one platform, not trying to make it work on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, everywhere. You're really focused like Instagram is my business or YouTube is my business. I'm going 2 feet into this one platform. And then over time, I would add another one, like start with Instagram, add in YouTube, add in TikTok, or just start with Instagram or start with YouTube and repurpose that content everywhere else. You can totally do that as well. But I would really pick one platform to be your business for at least a quarter, like 3 to 4 months, focus on that and then add in another one. Because again, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that we're too overwhelmed with posting on every single platform, being everywhere. And this is not forever. The strategy we're building out is not forever. It will grow and evolve and get bigger and more robust like as time goes on. But you have to start simple. We have to have that one road peptide lip balm to start, and then we'll add in more. If you want to pick 2, repeat the next 3 steps for each platform if you want to pick 2. And again, we talked about this in the other videos, but it's good to have other social media platforms that are not like your business, that are more about you, what you feel like posting. But whatever platform you pick is like, this is my business. It's not about you. It's all about your target audience, what they need. Okay, so we picked our business. Maybe you have 1 platform, maybe you have 2 that are going to be your business. So what do you actually post in feed? If I was starting from 0, what would I post every single week to grow to a point where social media is my business? The first thing that I would do is, you are probably a creative person. You're probably quite entrepreneurial, especially if you watch Busy Blooming, the show. You're probably like me, where you go through different eras with your content. Like sometimes you do series, sometimes you do content pillars. But what I want the strategy to be is I want it to work regardless of the era of content that you're in. So what I would do every single week if I wanted to grow is I would pick 1 of 3 options of how I'm going to treat every single week of my content. And the 3 options are, you can either choose every week or every month, every quarter, however you want to organize your content, is I would pick a posting structure that is either a weekly theme, a series, or content pillars. I've talked about each of these. I'm going to do a video soon about like a series, how to do that. But I think one of the best ways to grow is to kind of rotate between these. Sometimes you do a series, sometimes you do a signature series that's like 30 days. Sometimes maybe you do have content pillars. And then sometimes you have a weekly theme, which I have a whole video on weekly theme. I just had someone message me yesterday that they grew 60,000 followers from doing the weekly theme approach, which is when you have one problem that you answer every single day in different types of formats throughout the week. So all your content is like answering a question or a problem. But I wouldn't want to put you in a box of like, you have to do content pillars, you have to pick 3 buckets of content, you have to do a series, or you have to do a weekly theme, with this context in mind of growing from like 0 followers to making social media your business. Because I want your content to be very agile and change with you, because you want your content to always feel fresh and in alignment. So every single week I would decide, okay, for this week of content or this month of content, I'm going to either do a series, a weekly theme, or I'm going to do a content pillars. And why this is going to help you grow is because you're not forcing yourself to do anything. You don't have to do content pillars or a series or a weekly theme if you don't feel like it. So every single week I would pick one of those 3 to meet you where you're at that week. And then what I would do when it comes to what to actually post like in your feed, the actual content types, is what I would do is I would create 3 content templates. And this is so much harder than it sounds, but this is going to be a make or break it for you. Again, if I was going from zero, I want to make my business, I would test and throw so much shit at the wall on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, depending on what my business is, until I discover 3 types of content. This is more specifically for short form. YouTube, you can pick like 1, until I discover types of content that are 2 things. They're really easy to make, which I've talked about this before. They're easy to make and they actually work. Like they're data backed, like, okay, these perform well. I'm gonna throw some of my examples up, but for example, I'm doing this Instagram 30-day challenge right now. I've tried out so many styles of carousels, reels, talking to the camera, text on screen, putting a plain background and Pinterest background on my carousels, doing long captions, short captions. Like I have been testing so much throughout this month on Instagram until I have discovered that these templates always work. These carousels always get 50,000 views. The reason this is so hard is because this is like the entrepreneurial failing in front of everybody, failing fast. Your ego can't get in the way because you have to try stuff that won't work. But if I was really trying to grow, I would push myself to keep trying different styles until I figure out 3 templates that work, whether it's video templates, carousel templates. If I was doing YouTube, I'd figure out a specific style of thumbnail and title and video that works and keep testing until I get there. Because again, one of the biggest mistakes we make as content creators is that we can't be consistent because our content takes too long to make and we're putting all of our time and energy into one piece of content and it might not even work. So I want you to spend some time and figure out what is the easiest type of content to make. Another way to think about this is really using things you're already doing. Like for example, if you want to talk about fashion and you're getting dressed every day, how can you turn that into content? For me, it's so easy to just make a quick notes app screenshot carousel. It takes me like 2 seconds to make the title card in Canva. That for me is really, really easy to make. But what's going to be easy for you is not going to be easy for other people. For you, maybe making a quick video of you getting dressed is really easy, or talking to the camera, but you really want to figure out your signature templates that are easy to make and really work and keep testing until they work. And then what I would do when I have those 3 templates on short form is I would post 2 of those every single week. And again, this is going to work regardless of if you're doing a series, a weekly theme, or content pillars. You have your execution templates that work with you and you don't have to think every single week of fresh content all the time. But this is probably the hardest part about content creation, is figuring out your signature templates that work and are really easy to make, because it's exhausting. You keep trying out different content, nothing's working, but keep trying. Another big reason people don't grow is, but we talked about this last week and the whole video was about your content is not unique enough. We talked about 2 methods of laddering and the 3-piece checklist to really make your content unique. But if I was trying to go from 0 or 2,000, 10,000 to making it a business, I would try to post every single day. But I'm sure you're very busy because you're busy blooming. So these content templates are going to be the way that I'm going to be able to post every single day because they're easy to make. And that is the last thing that I would do. This is actually a framework of a content strategy that you can plug in what you want to do on social media. That is very simple and very focused and works for you every single week. And this is the exact stripped down framework that I would do, along with the last 2 videos of the series of the mindset and the content branding to make sure this is really unique. I'm in the right mindset. But having this really simple framework is going to help so much, help you feel organized, you have your shit together, and you know what you're doing every single week as a content creator, and you're really ensuring that you're not thinking too much about yourself and you're really focused on your target audience every single week. Okay, we are done with our meeting. It's time for a little coffee chat to dive deeper into all of that, because that is the structure, the framework that I would do if I was like, okay, I have 0 followers, I want to make social media my business. And the way that I'm approaching social media in this video and in the last 2 videos, this is actually the 3rd and final video in a series we're doing over here. I was going to do 4 parts, but I've just combined the last 2 parts into this. It just like makes more sense. But the way I've been talking about social media in this video and the last 2 of like taking social media seriously, being really focused, really clear, is honestly different than what I usually say. When you want to make the shift to making it your business, you just have to make this mental decision of like, okay, social media is no longer about me. And I do think the best way to do that is keep it so simple and so focused and then build on it from there, which is so much easier said than done. I had this experience a couple of years ago when I started busy blooming and started posting on social media. I was not thinking this way. I would say things like, oh, I want to be a full-time content creator. I want to have like a big podcast, or I want to have like a TikTok account that I make brand deals from and I do all these things. But I was thinking way too much about myself and not even realizing it, because when I started busy blooming and posting on social media, I would talk about 9-to-5 life, having a 9-to-5 job, balancing these different things, entrepreneurship, building a business, social media, content creation, marketing, confidence, like all of it. because at the time, that's what I found was interesting. And the second, a couple of years ago at this point, where I decided to just be like, okay, we're gonna talk about social media and content creation and like really start that way. I'm gonna try to make it really different, which if you missed the last video in the series, we really dove into content because these 3 videos like go together as a package. Because one of the things you have to be so for real and like so serious about if you want to make it your business is being really serious about being different and having a unique signature brand and standing out on social media, which we talked about what to do in your actual content last week. But the moment I cut through all the noise of all the different things I was talking about and really focused in is when everything started to grow. And then I added in talking again about entrepreneurship and business and mental health and confidence and my life and my routine. But it's actually so hard to do that. It's harder than people give credit for because you almost have the subconscious belief with social media that your social media and your brand has to include everything you find interesting and everything about you, but it actually doesn't, which not saying you can't do that. You totally can. You can have all your interests. You can do whatever you want. But if I wanted to make social media my business, like the number one thing I would do, even if I was somebody who had like a few thousand followers and wanted to grow it, I would cut through all the noise and simplify my brand and strip down my brand so much, what we talked about today, of like, okay, I'm not growing on social media. This is too complicated. Every single week, I'm overwhelmed with all the different things I want to talk about. I don't have a good ecosystem and routine of like templates that I do. I would just do what I did today. Even if I was somebody who had an existing brand, if I wasn't growing and I was like in a rut, I would make things so simple and like strip everything down and kind of like pivot my brand to be so clear of like one topic, one feeling, one persona, a couple of templates, and then add to it over time. And it can be really hard. Like I feel like people don't give enough credit to that. Alyssa always says this all the time, and we're gonna talk to Alyssa very soon. But you have to like niche down within yourself, which is so hard because you're like, I don't know what like the one thing, if I had to pick 1 or 2 things I want to be known for, what is the way that you'd want people to talk about you, and like what do you want your legacy to be? And if your answer is just like your lifestyle or like being a content creator, you won't grow. And you just won't grow because you don't have this clear thing and like centerpiece of what you want to be your thing. And like figuring out your thing is the hardest part. Like people ask that all the time, like, what if I don't know what my thing is? And I would say, of course, like it's such a big question. That question and all of this today and what we've been talking about in this series, it's not just for new content creators. Like even if you're somebody who has started and you're not growing, or you're feeling like in a rut, or you're feeling resistance, or just you're feeling frustrated, it might be because that is the question you're not like truthfully answering, is because you're not 2 feet into what you actually deeply want to be known for. And it takes a lot of courage. Like even if you want to completely rebrand or like strip down your brand, it's hard. I remember when this was in like 2023, when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go all in on social media and content creation and like stop talking about corporate, stop talking about entrepreneurship, stop talking about all these different things. It was really, really hard because it's so much more comfy to try to be everything to everybody and like people please all these different personas and different people. And it's actually harder to pick one thing that you want to be your signature thing. And all the different things you're interested in can be under your brand. It just, if you want to build a business, I would just do it over time because you will see more growth that way. That is why the advice like niching down works, because you pick one thing, even though niching down, you guys know me, like I hate that advice because you're not thinking about your target audience or yourself or your brand or anything. You're just like focused on a niche, which like you're so much more than a niche. You have a brand for target audience that has like multiple topics under it. But that whole mindset of like building a brand with a bunch of things under it, that comes later once you've done the work we've talked about today in the last 2 episodes of keeping it so simple and focused and not about you. And then you can kind of graduate and evolve into those other things. But anyways, if I wanted to take social media seriously, if I had 0 followers or a few thousand followers and I want to make it a business, what I talked about today is what I would do. And this advice is different than what I usually say, but this is like a different perspective of somebody who wants to make it their business rather than just like grow on social media and build a brand that you really like, because you start a business to solve problems for somebody, not just like have fun and have the vibes, which you can do both on social media, as you guys know. Anyways, I had so much fun at doing this series. That's how to take social media seriously. Our workday is adjourned. I have a lot more to say in this video, but if you don't care about what I'm doing or busy bluing behind the scenes, then like feel free to click off now. I have little updates of things I want to unpack with you of so many like exciting things going on that we need to talk about. So let's get into that. But if you want to end the workday here, not come to our post-work social, that's totally fine. So that is how to take social media seriously. Thank you for watching, and let's get into our little post-work unpacking session. Okay, sitting on the floor for this like just feels right. We have like a FaceTime that the two of us need to have together. I have so many things I want to tell you. So first things first, what's going on with the Busy Blooming YouTube channel? I have been testing out a few different styles. You saw me post 2 vlogs, and then of course we have the podcast show. But I have been doing the Busy Blooming podcast in the style that you have seen for about like a year and a little bit. I rebranded the podcast in January of 2024. So the last like year and a little bit, we've been having our sit down episodes. You've probably seen them. Usually on Mondays, where we do it like a 30-minute sit down unpacking about all these different things. And the format over time has been quite like formal, if that makes sense. Like I always wanted the Busy Blooming podcast and this channel in general to feel like a free course. Like you're coming to this channel and you're getting all of this advice for free that you would get into a course, because I do have a corporate background and I do obviously like one-on-ones and all these different things. And I made the decision at the end of 2023 to take down my course and just turn my podcast into this like free hub of unfiltered, actual good like structure and advice and resources and all these things. And I love this podcast so much. I can't believe how many people listen to it and watch it on YouTube. It blows my mind, and you guys know how much you mean to me. Like I love it. I love our community. I love Busy Blooming. Like the people we have over here are so nice. Like we're the nicest, kindest people. And I feel like we've all like found each other over here at Busy Blooming, and it grows every single week. It's like actually a dream. But I have to say something. I'm gonna be so for real. I had already filmed this episode, the episode we just did. I had already filmed it. It was edited. I was kind of adding text to it. And I was watching the episode last week. I was watching the show. I'm like, I feel like I have outgrown like this style of show where I'm like sitting on a chair with a microphone with big text. I feel like I have so much else I want to put into every single episode and like get deeper. And I felt like the part where I'm sitting in the chair and like talking for 25 minutes is just a piece of everything. And Busy Blooming, what I love so much about our community, I'm gonna talk about the vlogs in a second, is that we get deeper. Like we talk about the mindset and the emotional part of it. And it's not just about social media and content, like it is, but it's about like the deeper part of that and like having your mental health, like the human side of everything. And I love, recently I posted 2 vlogs for like the first time doing vlogs, the first time in forever I should say, where I was sharing like my experience with certain topics and like sitting around the apartment and chatting. And I love those so much more than the podcast. And I felt like those vlogs, there's 2 of them up here, where I'm like sitting and talking, honestly have more value than the sit down podcast, which I know the podcast has so much value in it, but it's like a different tone. I can't even describe it. And I do like both. I like the sit down, the course energy, but then also I like the deeper part of it, the more lifestyle part of it, of showing what I'm learning, my experience going through like the Instagram challenge of how I'm growing on Instagram right now, and then my personal experience with the topic. So anyways, I'm testing out a few different things over here right now. I really like the idea of Busy Blooming being like your office and like your workplace, like where genuinely we feel like coworkers, not just in the vlogs, but in everything over here. I saw someone recently post, I shared it on my Instagram story, that like I'm your social media manager or like your team or your boss. People tell me that all the time. And social media and content creation, I'm sure you want it to be a piece of your job. And I want Busy Blooming to not feel like a podcast, but feel like an office, if that makes sense, and like a workplace where you have like a boss and coworkers, and we're all coworkers like working together. And I want the podcast show to reflect that, and not just the podcast, but like every single piece of content we put out feels that way. Like we have meetings and coffee chats and after work, and like everything is like a workplace, and Busy Blooming is like your office, which is so me, like the corporate side of me I love. And I want to like bring that more into Busy Blooming rather than it just being like a podcast that you put on your TV. It's like really feels like an immersive workplace. Every time you open up a video or an episode, you're like, okay, I'm clocking to work. My role as a content creator, I'm part of the content creation department, and I'm going to work. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to connect with people. Maybe we'll have a coffee chat. Maybe we'll have an after work social. Maybe we'll have a meeting. Maybe we'll be like drawing out concepts on a whiteboard, or maybe we'll be chatting about how hard going on social media is. But it's like the content out here is more layered. There's more in each thing rather than like a sit down 20-minute thing. And I feel like the concepts I want to talk about and like all the things I want to show you and like tell you, and like even people want to bring into our office, to our Busy Blooming workplace, I want to have a bit of a different tone that's more helpful for you. Every episode is more dynamic. There's like more to it. And something else I really want to start doing, and I've said this, is I want want to share more about busy blooming behind the scenes and like share my life as like a 28-year-old building out my business. And if you watch the vlogs, I really mentioned vaguely like 2024, I didn't really do much of that. So 2025, I'm building out so many things that I'm like, I want to show you and take you along, because I feel like there's a lot you can learn as I'm learning. And like I always say, nobody knows everything. Like even the people you think don't. Even look at this. I'm like, have this podcast. I'm like, actually, let's just like switch it up a little bit, because I'm feeling bored, and that's like not a good sign of your own content. Not that I was bored, but I'm like, this isn't as fun. It wasn't fun. That's a better way to describe it. This could be a lot more fun, I was thinking. Anyways, I'm excited to test out like different styles, this like workplace energy over here. I saw this thing on TikTok that is so me. It was like, when I say welcome feedback, I mean I welcome compliments, but like please feel free to give me your feedback. If there's certain things you like about certain elements of the show that you're like, okay, I would actually like this every single week or multiple times a week, more vlogs, more lifestyle chats, or more mindset things, or more like corporate content concepts, or more Instagram challenges or YouTube challenges or strategies, like please let me know what you want, because I feel like busy blooming, we're going through a bit of an evolution right now at the business and with the content. I want to follow that, and I'm really excited about it. So please let me know in the comments why you follow, what you're looking for, what you find really fun about this show, and like what you're wanting more of, because obviously this is for you. So whatever you want, let me know, because I know we have a very like tight-knit community, so I'm dying to hear what your thoughts are on our content about these different things. But I'm excited to try different things both on YouTube with the podcast and on Instagram, and just go through a bit of a shift, kind of like take what we've been doing, throw that out, break all the rules of what we've been trying to do, all the different formulas, the setups, the schedules and everything, and like just break it up a bit and like try some new stuff to try to help you more with your social media, with your content, with your business, with your brand, your mindset, your confidence, all of it. Another exciting announcement that I just like need to throw in here is that these sweatshirts are going live on Friday. I don't know when this video is going up, but Friday, March 21st, these sweatshirts, this one and the pink one, will be up after I finish filming this. I'm gonna go and take all the pictures and like post on Instagram, but I'm really excited. These will be up. They'll be around $40 US for the sweatshirts, so definitely go check them out. They'll be up on the Busy Blooming website. I'm so excited. I got the raw, if you follow me on Instagram, you can follow me along, but I ordered the pink samples by accident with the blue embroidery, but yesterday, actually, I'll go grab it one sec. I got the pink samples. We did 3 versions of the sweater. Look at the blue on the pink. Like, am I okay? Anyways, the text was too low on the first one. There was blue embroidery on the second one, but then the third and final, I just got in and I love it. It's perfect. This is like our core first ever Busy Bling pink, and then we have it in this new blue, which is our current brand color that I love. This color is also kind of having a moment right now, so love that. I'm so excited. I wear these every single day. Can't wait to all match together. 2 more things. Usually this part of the video will be more interesting, but a very exciting thing that I haven't shared literally anywhere is that I'm going to LA really soon to do 2 very exciting things, meet 2 very exciting people, and I'm obviously going to be bringing the Busy Blooming podcast and community along, and I'm so excited. So I just want to say I look forward to LA content coming soon. I've only been to Disneyland when I was a kid, and I'm going to go shoot 2 podcasts that I'm so excited about, and you're going to be so excited. So look forward to that. And then also, like I mentioned, Busy Blooming right now, I'm working on a launch that's actually already done. It's like 95% done, which is very unlike me. I feel like I always like finish something and then launch it immediately, but I'm taking this launch very slow. But if you're somebody who has ever wanted to work with me with coaching, or you've worked with me in the past, this launch is going to be replacing that, but in a much more accessible way. I haven't done one-on-one coaching for many months at this point because I've been building out what I'm building out, and I'm so excited about it. This is the most excited I think I've ever been for something. More excited than I am about like the podcast, like any content, anything ever. So I'm really excited for that. And I want to take you more along the journey of building that out as well. So I know that's like the most vague thing ever, but just stay tuned. It's coming in April. And the last thing I want to say in this after hours chat that I will leave you with is that if you are having a moment right now where you are feeling so overwhelmed, like you have no idea what you're doing, you're in a rut with content, you're just like not vibing and not flowing, just know everybody I know, including myself, is feeling that way. I think it's a few things going on, but I always find in March, it's a few months into like the new year, you're trying a million things, you're testing a million things. You've probably been going pretty hard at like trying to build new routines, new habits, build up your content, build up your social media, maybe try a new platform, try new formats. Like it just makes so much sense that March is a time that a lot of people get into this state of like, what am I doing? I also think March is a huge growth phase. It's just like a personal thing, but I feel like because spring spring is coming. We naturally start a lot of fresh things in spring, even if we don't realize it. Like winter is ending, the sun is shining, and it's so bright and sunny in Toronto these last few days filming this. So sometimes we start to feel more like ourselves again. We're not like in the deep of winter. So you're feeling more inspired. You're kind of like growing out of what you were doing, but you're not in the new era yet. So just know if you're feeling like uncomfortable, like resistance or like crashing out, just know every content creator friend that I have and just like every person I know is feeling that way. Like there's a lot of movement and growth and like fresh things. Just know if you're spiraling, you're not alone. I've been feeling the same way. If like you want to change things, you want things to be different, but you don't exactly know how. It's a very normal thing regardless of how many followers or like whatever you're doing. It's just the time of the year. It's crash out season, truly. I also am going to give a final update on the Instagram 30-day challenge from my personal experience doing it. I've learned so much about Instagram over the last month, but if you want to join the 30-day challenge, it's completely free. I just did a YouTube video about a 30-day challenge of a strategy that you could do for 30 days. I've had so many people message me that they've grown like 5,000, even 60,000, 70,000 followers on Instagram, which blows my mind. I've grown about 6,000 doing it. In the next episode, I will unpack all my thoughts at the end of the video, but if you want to join, I've been getting so many questions. All you need to do is watch the video, download the free assets. I made a Notion content calendar. I made templates. You can download all of that for free and then just pick a day and start. There's like nowhere else to like join. You just have to download it and then decide when to start. You can use the hashtag busyblooming on all your content. That's how to join. It's just like in the video and you just decide when you want to start. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you're still watching, thank you so much. And I'm really excited about all the fresh, fun things coming at Busy Blooming. And I hope you are doing well. And I will see you very soon for a new episode, a new video. And yeah, okay, bye.